Hey, it's Travis. Too many camp directors run just on gut feel. Our free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic is your dashboard for resilience. Take it today at camp.mba/Travis. Again, that's camp.mba/Travis. Are you feeling overworked and overwhelmed? What if the solution for you is a camp friend you already know and trust?
This is CampHacker. Come find our show notes and our blog for camp directors and leaders at camphacker.tv.
Running camp comes with enough moving parts. UltraCamp keeps registration, payments, and communication in one place so you can spend less time juggling systems and more time building an incredible camp experience. Learn more at ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker.
If you're still making camp schedules and spreadsheets, you know how draining it is and how often mistakes slip in. Enter Camptivities. It's made by camp people for camp people to save time, cut errors, and make camp run smoother. Be the change your camp needs. Explore smarter scheduling today at camptivities.com.
Hello, Camp Mavericks, and welcome to the CampHacker podcast brought to you by UltraCamp, Camptivities, and the Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic. My name is Travis Allison. I'm a summer camp consultant specializing in helping camp directors reclaim their time, build their resilience, and reignite their purpose.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Hudson. I am also a camp consultant specializing in making sure that youth development programs are open to anyone, regardless of how they identify.
We want to welcome you to the show and just remind folks that there should be a spot in the app that you're listening to us on, or even in below this YouTube video. You could leave us a little review or testimonial that is helpful for us, specifically in helping us getting sponsors who help us subsidize this show to make sure that we can put it on. Chris, we are talking about ourselves today.
Love that. I love talking about myself. I love when other people talk about me. So this is great. I'm getting everything I need.
Yeah. We are going to go through some of the ideas around what it means to bring in somebody from the outside to work with you, work with a consultant. The real impetus was people always think it's more expensive than I think it is. People don't really understand how investing in this kind of thing actually means more money and time for them. And so we thought we would just examine that. We have a group of friends that are all consultants and trainers together in a WhatsApp group, and I thought I would just give people some perspective on that because we've been having some great discussions this fall about how we all serve camp people.
Yes, I can't stress enough. People think consultants are expensive, and I'm not going to lie, they are. Okay, it's probably not as much as you think, but what's more is value of a consultant. You know, sometimes I work with some camps where great camps, right? So the kids, they come as kids, they become staff, then they become administrators, and then they end up being at that camp for 40 years, right? In total. And I work with one camp where that's a lot of the administration. So it's like an echo chamber after a while.
Yeah.
Coming into that gives you fresh eyes, because honestly, our own programs, we have myopia, right? It's too close to us and we can't see it. So that's why calling in someone from the outside to come in, and I'm not just saying walk around and like judge your camp, right? To solve a problem that you have, it only makes sense. You can't listen up. I'm gonna rock everyone's world. You cannot do it all by yourself. And you cannot heap it onto the staff, especially if they don't have the proper skills that you're looking for. You can't do everything on your own.
There we go.
Yeah, so there it is.
I think the value and the expense, I just want to spend a second more there before we think big picture and what the benefits are to you.
Sure.
But number one, you've heard me say it a zillion times. If you listen to CampHacker ever before, we are terrible at understanding our value to our camps.
Yeah.
And that we don't know how much we cost camps when we get caught in projects that don't offer big picture value back to the camp. I've given lots of examples. I won't repeat them here, but I would say that the most important thing to me is step one of this is understand the value of your time to your
Mm-hmm.
camp. And it's pretty easy to calculate. Just take your salary, 52 weeks in a year minus however many weeks vacation, so many days, so many
Mm-hmm.
hours. There's a number. And that's what you cost them in salary. Add at least another third for benefits and payroll taxes and all the other stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
cost your camp. And then you've got a number. And if you can hold that number close, it helps you make much better decisions about
Mm-hmm.
things. And I think one of the biggest value in bringing somebody from the outside, I said in the intro, these are people you already know. These are
Mm-hmm.
camp people that you've heard speak or people that you've had long discussions with, and they can help you create shortcuts. It makes things go faster and easier to have somebody from the outside, let alone the fact that this person is bringing in the experiences of so many other camps. Like they're able to just pull all that stuff together and then figure out how to apply it. I had a weird conversation with somebody who'd never hired a consultant before, so not weird for them. It was just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I understand why you're asking me this question. Their question was, can we guarantee that what I work on for them will never be used for another camp? And I said, no, because if that was it, then I would be coming to you with a clean slate. None of the
Mm-hmm.
systems I've built, none of the lessons I've learned, none of the ways I change things over time. You don't get any of that benefit. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. I will never use your camp by name in these things, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever tools I generate get added on because you got the benefit of me adding
That's
tools.
what that's why they're hiring you for those tools that you have tried out in other
Yeah.
camps.
Yeah.
Something you said that, you know, I
Yeah.
often this happens in my family too. When I comment on how my cousins are being raised, and like, you don't have kids, you don't understand. And I'm like, that's
Right.
fair. However, I was like, you have met and you've been dealing with one 12-year-old. I've met 1,000 12-year-olds.
Yep.
I've seen them coming and going. I've watched them age up. I've watched them age out. So that's a different kind of experience that I have. And that applies to what we're doing here. I
Mhm.
visit, and in the summer, I'm visiting like some umpteen camps in like a
Yep.
3 week period. And I meet these people. I understand what they're doing. I do borrow and steal a lot of stuff from my own camp. I'm gonna be really honest, but
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah. Yeah.
value that I
Of
bring,
you.
right?
Yeah.
That's the value that most consultants bring. They come like, listen, I see that you're doing this thing, but I visited two camps who were doing something similar and it didn't work out for them. Let's start fresh and figure out a new way to get to where you are. And oh, I know some other places that are doing it well. Let me tell you about it. Like
Yeah.
that's the value of a consultant because who has time? You
Yeah.
don't have time. You don't have time to go out and explore and do all this other stuff. You just don't have the
Yeah.
time to do it. And I can't stress this enough because this is something you told me, Travis, a couple of weeks ago, is that like hire someone. I was really blocked with something and I just kept running over the same ground, not doing it well. And Travis was just like, hire someone. And I did. And everything's better now. Now
Right.
that part of my brain can turn off and I can focus on other things. And she's doing a bang up job. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So that's really what I'm paying for is to get my mind space back.
Yes.
And I need
Yeah.
it, you
This,
know?
I mean, this is such an industry problem is that we don't value the value of ourselves to our thing, but we're also not valuing what it means to have the ability to think clearly, to go back to big picture and
Hmm.
not be worried about email triage from you going to a
Yep.
conference for a day.
Hmm.
Just that sense of clarity, I think, makes it a lot easier to do your job because you can get some of that stuff out of your brain.
Hmm.
It's out there, and it's not taking up that kind of time.
And it's a real collaboration.
Yeah,
Like, it's not like a consultant comes in and they just sort of run roughshod over what you've already done. Like,
yeah,
consultants are really trying to match their skills to your needs.
yep, hmm,
And so I think a lot of people probably, maybe a lot of people listening to this, like this is new information because like you never considered it before, or you reached out and you called someone and you got sticker shock. But like Travis said, if you do the math, when you do the math, you're saving over time. You're saving your time. Yeah, I had another point, but I forgot it. It was great, but it was great. Everyone should know it was going to sum everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
sorry.
go,
I got it.
go.
The point is, the other thing I wanted to say is that like it was about being collaborative. You work with I'm sorry, you go. I'm going to get it. I'm going to look at my notes. Go.
Yep. So I think the what you get out of it is the ability to increase your, I mean, I do marketing and communications mostly, so my job is to make you more money.
Yeah.
And I can make that go faster because I've been doing it for 16 or 17 years with camps
Mm-hmm.
from around the world. And I
Mm-hmm.
know how, at its core, so much of my job is to understand how parents think about camp.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some understanding of that because of our relationship with parents, but I'm bringing something bigger picture. So I think that new perspective is very valuable. Someone from the outside saying, really, why do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we as consultants tend not to accept because we've always done it that way,
Mm-hmm.
or really to challenge you to think a little deeper about that kind of thing. So you get that outsider's perspective that's been forged by lots of different camps. It's bringing in details from hundreds of other camps.
A thought
You're given
partner.
shortcuts
Yeah.
to make things easier.
Yeah.
I'm making ChatGPT tools for my clients 3 or 4 times a week that all will save them 3 to 8 hours a week. And so you get some shortcuts for that. And I think the other big benefit that I really want to make sure we talk about is the accountability. So
Mm-hmm.
when you are feeling overwhelmed and overworked, you tend to get sucked into projects that aren't the best use of your time. But if you know you have a meeting with Chris at 11 o'clock on Thursday and you've agreed you're going to get this stuff done before your next call, then you get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have someone from outside your organization that says, okay, I'm ready to hear what you did.
What's more, someone who can hold you accountable and someone you can hold accountable to.
Sure.
How many times I have assigned stuff for staff to do,
Mm-hmm.
but because of politics or the relationship web, like they get forgiven. Oh, I missed the deadline. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. Oh, it's all right. When you're hiring someone, listen, everyone knows what that relationship's like. They're trying to deliver for you because they're trying to do a good job. So if they
Mm-hmm.
tell you it's going to be done on December 12th, it will be. It will
Yeah.
be. And you can relax about that. And you can avoid, this just popped into my head. You can avoid some of the, like I said, the politics and the relationship web of your particular camp. Sometimes this happens at my camp. Things, what gets assigned to who and who gets to work on what sometimes becomes a point of contention on staff. Okay. Because everyone wanted to do this or everyone wanted to help build that or do the other thing, which is great. Involve your staff in
Yep.
whatever you
Yep.
want. But like sometimes, like some of the big or the little projects, you can sidestep all of that just by bringing somebody in. I'm trying to think of like a caution. Like I don't, it's all upside. Is it all upside? I think it's all
Well, you
upside.
can hire the wrong consultant.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What is
Let's
the
do that in a
wrong?
second. Let's
Yeah.
do that in a
Okay, go
second.
ahead.
Oh, at the benefit of having someone from the outside, I've had people use this with other vendors. I've had people use this with their boards,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just step in and say, "Put this on me."
Mm-hmm.
We both agree that this change needs to be made. Put this on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't, because of that politics, because of whatever, all these things, you just say, our consultant has said. And because of that, I've gone in and I look at where people are spending their, like I've moved from communications and consulting and marketing, I mean, into more sort of big picture resilience. How do we make sure your camp's going to be here in 10 years stuff?
Yeah.
And one of the things we look at is where you're spending money.
Yeah.
And I have gone in and saved a client in one call twice what they're paying for me over a 2 year period because I
Boom.
went in and said, why are you spending this money? Well, our board member says we should really be investing in SEO and they're spending $15,000. They can get no results that they can show me. And they just don't know. And I'm like, okay, A, cancel that. B, let's set up some criteria. So we're spending money. Here's the benefit. Here's how we measure it. Here's what we're going to test over time. All of those kind of make sure that it works for you things are
Mm-hmm.
great shortcuts that consultants can provide.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. I can't think of anything. That was very well said. It was
Okay.
very well said, Travis.
Thank you. I stepped over an idea that you were about to say.
Hiring the wrong consultant, which
Oh yeah, sure.
I think that's one of the things that causes people to hesitate to do this. Am I
Yeah,
getting the right person? How do I
yeah,
know this is the right person? There are a couple of people who do this. Like, what's the difference between them? Like, and I can understand that. But I think a lot of it comes with the relationship that you build with the consultant
hmm
and getting references for the work that they do, or the work
yeah,
that they have done, and just
yeah,
understanding if your styles match. I think that's really important. I I do a great job. I know that, but I
hmm
can't do it for everyone.
hmm
Sometimes it's values misalignment,
yep,
and it doesn't matter what I say. It's kind of not going to work here because we're not operating on the same values. For instance, because that sounds vague, I, for instance, and this is very dramatic, but
hmm
it's true. This is how we operate Camp Highlight. If we, and it's never happened, but there was one year where we almost didn't have enough staff. And so I
yeah,
was like, we're just not doing the program. We're not going to do it because I
hmm
refuse to just put someone in there who's not been properly vetted. And I don't think, like,
warm
I'm
body.
not doing warm bodies.
Hmm
And that's important for someone to know when I move it. As a matter of fact, right before this, I had a call with a potential client and I told them that I was like, these are my values. Like, I don't cut corners and I don't accept anything less than 100%. Right. It's a
hmm
little black and white. It makes me a little intractable, but you have to know what you're getting. And they were like, we love that. So, which is great.
yeah,
But I think that's the conversation to have is not just what the deliverables are, but how the person works and vibe. All
yep,
right. It's about
yep,
vibes. Like if this is someone you can vibe with, you think gets you and you can get them, well, then great. We can make something happen. You know what I mean?
yeah, yep. And part of that is like ask
Yeah.
your friends about this person, ask for people to talk to, get some testimonials, all of those things. It is a very small industry. And yes, there are people in the world who do not vibe with the way I think about the world or the way I
Hmm.
speak, quite frankly.
Yeah. It's true.
But there are lots of people that do, and you can ask around to see what others have learned from this person in presentations and workshops, etc. I think it matters, although it's more expensive to find somebody who's been in the industry longer. If you have somebody who's going to charge you $1,500 to do consulting work for you,
Hmm.
and because you're an early client and they just want to get started and they out front say, I'm just building my business and so I'm going to give you a deal for now,
Hmm.
you go into it knowing that. But if you hire somebody and you realize they haven't been a camp director for 24 months or less, it
Hmm.
means that they have this experience from their own camp perspective,
Yeah.
but they don't have all the experience from all these other
Hmm.
things in the world. It was such an amazing feeling because I love learning these kind of things and I love
Hmm.
being surprised by it. It was such an amazing feeling to realize that as a camp director, I had very limited perspectives, even though I went to lots of conferences, toured lots of camps, but there was some deep understandings of the way other camps work that I didn't have until I spent time with them and got to hear the passion and the parents say what their kids got out of it. And I learned a ton in those first couple of years, but I
Hmm.
sure couldn't do it at that price anymore because I've just learned so much
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
a lot
You're
more.
better now.
Sure, I can deliver faster. There's no
Hmm.
doubt. I mean, I
Hmm.
think that's another thing too, is I can get to the point faster, or get to revenue generation or culture build or all those things faster.
If you're still building camp schedules and spreadsheets, you know how much time it eats up and how easily mistakes sneak in. Camptivities changes that with scheduling software that saves hours and ensures every camper gets the experience you promised. Whether it's group or camper scheduling, different schedules every day, or you just want to break your own rules to give a deserving camper a popular activity, Camptivities handles it all. With auto scheduling and over 70 easy to use reports, you'll reduce errors, keep staff happy, and run a smoother program. Be the change your camp needs. Start today at camptivities.com. Don't wait until the new year. Now's the time to find a better way to schedule and save 15% for the first year. We'd love to show you the next big thing in camp. Visit camptivities.com to set up a time to chat. Let us help you get away from your desk and back out to camp.
Exclusive for CampHacker listeners, grab UltraCamp's free guide, The Parent Experience Checklist. Practical steps to simplify registration and keep families coming back. Download at ultracampmanagement.com/CampHacker. Parents don't want clunky processes, and you don't want constant phone calls. UltraCamp helps you simplify registration with mobile-friendly forms, offer payment plans that work for your families, reduce calls and emails with automated reminders, and keep parents engaged with built-in communication tools. UltraCamp helps you create smooth, stress-free parent interactions so your team can focus on camp, not customer service. Learn more at ultracampmanagement.com/CampHacker.
I'm still trying to think of what I'm trying to think of, Travis, is why people do hesitate. I think it's because it's the fear of getting the wrong person. I do think it's sticker shock. I think it's sticker shock.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about sticker shock for a second. I strongly believe people get paid for the work that they do.
Yeah.
And I know from consulting that sometimes that work is really difficult. Like when I work with a camp, I've got to read their entire website, their staff handbook, the parent handbook, like any other documents they have that are shown to staff, children, or families. That's a lot of work. And then I have to break that down, analyze it, find out where the holes are. Like that is a lot of work, and that is valuable work. So I'm not going to sit here and defend every consultant's fee. That's not it. No. But what I am saying is that you might want to think, you're going to be like, you're going to shut this off. You might want to think as you make your budgets going forward, like putting in, I know you all put in for outside training for your staff training. Like you might want to put in for a consultant just so every year, like there's money going into a consultant fund if you find that there's some place you really get stuck, and again, I'm asking you to budget money that you're probably like, which is hard to come by nowadays, perhaps, but it is worth it. It's just worth it. So if it's the sticker shock, understand that is the value you are getting. And if you're afraid of getting the wrong person, interview them and let them, tell them what your vision is, understand what they think the vision is for you. And then you move forward from there. I can't think of another reason why people might hesitate. Can you?
No, I mean, I think sticker shock is the thing. I had to accept going into this that if I was going to be in this business 10 years from when I started, that myself as a camp director could no longer afford me. And that's why Go Camp Pro puts out so many free resources in the world all of the time, because I want people like me, Beth and I, who couldn't afford much outside help. But we were certainly at a place by the end of our time there where we had lots more bodies, a lot more revenue. We were growing at a point that we could have been looking at outside help by the end of our tenure there, because we just worked on the systems and made things work. Like we just had more money because we'd been more thoughtful. I do think someone could have come in and shortcut all of that by 10 years.
And that's it. How do you put a price tag on that? That's incredible. So however much money that is, like the value of that, I think it's just hard for people to see that. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I don't think my camp could afford me now either. But then again, it depends what they're asking me to do.
Sure.
It depends what you're asked to do.
I'm sure you have it too. Like there's some camps that are like, I understand that you can't afford me. Tell me what you can afford, and I will make up a thing. We won't publicize what the contract is, but I will figure out a way to help you. Or I will figure out a way to make the money that it'll cost you in one engagement. I'll help you make the money to do a full, real contract, like a full length contract.
I think that's part of it, is that any consultant, like, we're not buying stuff from a warehouse. You know what I mean? Like we set the price. So you can talk exactly what you said, Travis. I had this experience just on Friday. Fine. Someone wanted to hire me for a keynote and some training. And I told them what it would cost. And they're like, oh, we can only afford this much, which was like half as much. And I said, listen, I can't do all the things that you wanted me to do. But here's a list of things that I could do for that much money. So just think about it and let me know. People, like Travis said, small industry. And I know a lot of consultants, and they're all like really great, reasonable, flexible people. The conversation is not as daunting as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Let's finish there, Chris. Let's think about hints or tips for when you're interviewing or searching for a consultant. You accept that Chris and Travis are right, that you
Sure.
want to look for a consultant and what they do. Like I think what their skills are and what they're offering is important, but I do think
Mm-hmm.
Chris is right. You should do an interview with them. You should
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, even if you deep down are sure you can't afford them. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to learn something about how the industry works, how they
Mm-hmm.
think, etc. Like I would ask a consultant, why are you passionate about camp?
Yeah.
I know I could make 3 or 4x what I make in this industry
Mm-hmm.
if I just found and replaced camp for something corporate, in all of my stuff.
Absolutely.
But
I think
I
about that all the time.
try,
Yes.
I try to make money that way, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that comes out of my brain all day long is how does this help camp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not when I'm talking to clients, just when I'm walking the dog and reading a book, and it's all how does this, but because I care so much.
exactly. And any consultant you find is going to care so much. The one thing I can say is that like in a lot of industries, you have to worry about scammers. There aren't
Sure.
any. There just aren't any. Like, don't hire anyone you haven't heard of, too. Like, that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like, it is a small industry. You already know all the people. Oh, before we
Yeah.
go, when you
Yeah.
do hire a consultant, be very clear about what your goals and your deliverables are.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are like, help me. The camp is a mess. That's that's not helpful.
Yeah.
That's not helpful. Like, just be very clear about what you need before you engage a consultant. If you're not sure what you need, that's cool, but that's part of the engagement. At the end of that first or second conversation with that consultant, the goals should be there. And if there's concrete deliverables that you can list, that's even better. Even better.
Yeah. Yeah. How are we going to measure if this works?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
which time, how do we evaluate that at this time? Etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any other piece of advice, things they should ask?
Like I said, it's a vibe check. I love what you said about asking why why are you doing this? Like why are you doing this
Yeah.
for me? You know, we all come or are associated with camps. Like, why didn't you
Yeah.
stay there? What's your deal? I think
Yeah.
that is really important. People ask me that all the time. They're like, why aren't you a camp pilot anymore? I was like, I wasn't fired or anything. I didn't,
Yeah.
that's such a thing. I was like, I want to do what we're doing there everywhere.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's my motivation. So
Yeah.
other things to ask than that. Oh, just we've already said this. Be really upfront about what you can afford and what you're willing to spend.
Sure.
I find that Americans are very, it's difficult to talk about money.
Sure.
No one wants to
Culture.
talk about it
Mm.
as if it's all going to work out in the back end. Hey, everybody, we all need money. We all work for money. We all spend money. It's okay to talk about. It's okay. It's okay to say, this is how much I have, or
Mm.
you're too expensive. That's all fine. We've heard it.
Mhm.
We've heard all of it before. You're not going to surprise or embarrass us, and you shouldn't be embarrassed about it either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think I was wondering if there's any other questions I would recommend.
really
Any
think
other
of
ones that
any.
have surprised you or really made you, as in that interview stage, really go, oh, I haven't thought about it that way before.
I don't know if it's necessarily like questions that people ask, but sometimes it's scenarios that people are telling me that they're having trouble with.
Yeah.
And either I know it's not that I couldn't help them or fix the problem. It's just, again, when it goes back to vibe check, the way that I would suggest to do it. Before I start doing the work, the way I would do it, I know probably would not fit where they are. So yeah, I think I don't know if I've been surprised by a question, but I've certainly been surprised by like, oh, this is how we do this thing. And I'm like, whoa, we are so far apart from where you are to where I could take you. And where I could take you isn't someplace that I would necessarily suggest. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some I'm thinking about one camp in particular, which I will not name, but they wanted me to come in and do some inclusion work, talk to the
Mhm.
staff, do some staff training.
Mhm.
But they didn't, like most camps, they wanted to be woke enough to get people of color and queer people, but just racist enough, right? And just homophobic enough to please their board. And
Yeah.
yeah, this camp was on that line. They're like, we'd love for
Mhm.
you to, we love the work that you do. We'd love for you to come and do like an identity training here. Oh, but
Yeah.
because of the community we work with, we really don't talk about pronouns or using people's pronouns. And I said, well, I can't work with you.
Mhm.
I said, what exactly am I talking about then? It's
Yeah.
and that's the thing. So it's not a question necessarily. It's just that sometimes the operating principles are just outside my bounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yep. Yep. I think one other thing I would say as a boss, you may be the decision maker on something like this or have a lot of influence on it, but the job may fall to somebody that's not you, somebody
mhm.
in your year-round team that's not you. Insist that you get copied on the communications between that person and the consultant. I
Oh,
know
nice.
lots of bosses who've had surprises
Mhm.
or come to me and said, "You've made no difference with us with the year," and I then just show them all the correspondence. So it's like your person told me they were doing all these things, and when I checked
Yeah.
in with them, they said they'd already done them. And
So there it
so
is.
you should have a piece of that picture all the time. You should make sure you know what's going on.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
This was,
Um.
I want to say,
Yeah. Go.
this was a cool conversation. I don't know. Like, I feel like because it's hiring a consultant, because it's about money, I think
Yeah.
people are so shy to like have the conversation. I just want to end by saying, yo, like I said, we've heard it all before. We've heard
Yeah.
you're too expensive. We've heard we can't afford you. We want
Yeah.
to work with you.
Yep.
We want
Yeah.
we want to do this work because it
Yeah.
puts food in our bellies, but also because that person probably loves camp and they love
Yeah.
your camp and they want your camp to be better. So tell them what you can afford and they will help your camp get better,
Yeah.
at that rate. Just
Yeah.
don't be afraid to talk about it. That's
Yeah.
what I want people to walk away with.
I want two things I want you to think about.
Mhm.
Number one is take a look at something like whatever that price is and divide it by number of campers. You know what a camper costs per session? You're
Oh.
like, how many more campers do I have to get to pay for this?
Mhm.
Not all of us, not most of us do program development or marketing or
Mhm.
all of that. A lot of us are really focused on staff stuff,
Mhm.
but you should still have in your head if staff training goes better, if this person helps him with community building, it's going to be easier for me to get more campers or less time and stress to hire staff.
Mhm.
And here's a number that is associated with that.
Absolutely. Sometimes what you're buying is staff retention and camper retention.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's usually what I'm helping people with. And it's
Mhm.
like it's like invisible income because you're like, oh, our numbers are going up. Is it because of the consultant solely? I don't know, maybe, but you are making efforts to make the camp better. And oh, look, it got better. Like that's
Yeah.
not a coincidence.
Right. I think, and this is not my not my other point, which kind of left me, but I think it's important for you to benchmark some stuff so you have your own numbers of how if things are growing and getting better, and if it's something like kind of hard to quantify, like Chris just said, camper retention, staff retention.
Mhm.
Take a look at your surveys and see like what is your parent satisfaction or camper satisfaction or staff retention rate or staff satisfaction.
Yeah.
How is that changing over time when you start to implement some of these stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You will be better off. I feel like this was one long commercial, but I refuse to apologize for it because like we want your camp to be better. I
Yeah.
mean, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
we
my
want it.
final note.
Yeah.
It's based on something you just said. My final note is
Hmm.
I can think of probably 3 camps that I have worked with in
Hmm.
17 years that I have not completely and utterly fallen in love with. 3.
Listen, I'm wearing this camp shirt now, this camp I work at, and I love them.
Yeah.
I'm going on the
Yeah.
street wearing their shirt,
Yeah.
right? Because I
Yeah.
love them. They're
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, we love camp. Hire us, sure, but think about outside. Just think about outside help, please. I
Yep.
hate getting on. I really do hate getting on here, Travis, and telling people to spend money. I do,
Mm.
but I'm shrugging. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the gig. The
Yep.
gig is.
Well, and honestly, there are so many places where we sort of culturally as a camp industry
Mhm,
just hold on to money that if we just thought about how the investment was working and be really intentional about our spending,
mhm.
we just make more. We make more money. We have a greater impact in the world. Our staff like their summers better. All of those things that make your life easier can come out of a consulting relationship.
And oh my God, we're going over. We just keep setting the ball and spiking it back to each other.
Yeah. Well, I maybe the thing I want to leave you with is I always fall in love with your camps.
Yes, me
And I
too.
love your camps probably 90% as much as I love my own. And
And
I love my own a lot.
I just love camp.
Yeah, right.
My camp, of course, is the
Uh-huh.
best camp in the world, but like I love the idea of camp. And I've made it my mission to make these places better. I'm not the
Yep.
only one who thinks that way. I wouldn't be
Mm.
in this role if I didn't want to deliver for you.
Yeah. Before the end of the show, I'm going to give you my email address, and you can use it to give us more show ideas, or you can use it to reach out to me and say, "This doesn't sound like what you do, Travis. Who would you recommend I talk to?"
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I am purposely creating and working with a group of people that I am getting to know, ones I don't know yet, but ones I trust and that I can recommend. And I will tell
Cool.
you if I can't do the job.
Oh, as will I. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to do a job they can't do,
Yeah.
especially not in this industry because it's too small.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, like I said, there's no one trying to get one over on you. Everyone's
Yeah.
working diligently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So reach out, Travis at GoCamp.pro, and I will give you some ideas and suggestions. And if you want an honest opinion on when and how Chris can help you, you reach out to me and I
Yeah.
will make sure that you know how good Chris is at this stuff.
Yeah. I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Let us move on to our tool of the week.
Tool of the week.
So each of us brought a little tool. Today it's App Day by the looks of it. Something that will make you be a better camp director or make the job of being a camp director simpler. Why don't you go first, Chris?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I had this opportunity. You know, you ever be on Instagram or your group chat and someone will like drop like, oh my gosh, you have to read this article and it's like from the Atlantic and they drop it in the chat and you click, you're like paywall, right? I guess I can't read
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Well, do I have news for you? There's a website, it's removepaywall.com. And whatever the link is that leads to the paywall, you just put the link in there and then magically you can read the article. This is legal, I'm told, right? Are you stealing? It's shadowy. I don't think so, but it does what it says. And that's really all I have to say. But like, I'm reading the New York Times links that people always put in my group chat because I can see it. Removepaywall.com. It's super cool. Like it has changed my life. I'm just reading a lot more articles, really. But yeah, work it out, everybody.
I have an app, and I meant to check if this is available on Windows. It's definitely a Mac app. It is called CleanShot, and it is a screenshot app, which your computer already can do screenshots. This one will allow you to not just take the whole screen, but select a specific area of it. It backs up your screenshots for you. It allows you to rename them, reaccess them again. It also allows you to easily draw over top of your screenshots. So if you're just saying, okay, let's move this button over here, or don't forget that we left an extra comma on the website in this space, you just draw right on the image. One of my favorite things to do, which is what I think sets CleanShot apart from most other screenshot apps or the one that's built in, you can record a full Loom-like video of what's happening on your screen, but you can also make a GIF of it. So if it's simple, like 10 seconds of instructions you just want someone to see, you just record it, it turns it into a GIF, you send it to them in any email package. And I literally have hundreds of these. And it's just the dumbest little things. It's like, this would be so much easier if I just show you. I'll send it to you. And then I just do a little recording. I make sure that it is 12 seconds or less or 15 seconds or less. And I send it on. But that little thing for me makes CleanShot worth it. So if you want The information from this, you can go to camphacker.tv/podcast and get our information there and find these tools a week, past episodes, etc.
I want to take this moment and opportunity to encourage you to listen to other Go Camp Pro podcasts. They're all phenomenal, but I want to talk about Camp Code. Camp Code is all about staff training, staff supervision, leadership, all things staff. And they're having some sick conversations over there about inclusion, right? About making sure your training is scheduled correctly, about how to market and recruit staff, which is something that we're all going to need to do right around this time of year. So check out all the podcasts, but stop by Camp Code.
Absolutely. Search for Camp Code in any of your podcasts. Chris, if people want to follow up, how do they get in touch?
They can just, they can email me. I was thinking about it. Yeah, email me, planetchris@gmail.com. I don't know what just happened. I was about to give my phone number. I don't think that's a good idea. That's why I forgot we were on a podcast. Yeah, planetchris@gmail.com. And I can solve your problems around culture creation, program design, leadership, staffing, all this. I'm very smart. Check it out. And Travis, if you want to get a hold of you, did you say it already?
Well, I did, but just in this instance, make sure you reach out, Travis, at gocamp.pro. This episode was an experiment, and we hope it's helpful. We accept that it was a little self-serving, but we wanted to make sure that people have the opportunity to hire not just the two of us, but other great people who can make a huge impact on your camp. So we wanted to talk about that. Reach out to me if you feel some sort of way about this podcast topic. Chris and I want to thank the sponsors of this week's episode, as well as our editor, Ryan Vandertorn, and Go Camp Pro's executive producer of podcasting, Matt Wilfred.
And thanks for the evening, friends.
The Camp Hacker podcast is brought to you by Beth and Travis Allison, summer camp leadership training and marketing consultants. Thanks for listening. Camp Hacker, bringing your world into focus.
Hey, it's Travis. Camp directors often tell me they're just too tired to take on anything new. That's exactly why my free Resilient Camp Blueprint Diagnostic exists. It doesn't add work, it shows you progress. Quick, free, repeatable, you'll know if your systems are paying off without the guesswork. Try it today at camp.mba/Travis. That's camp.mba/Travis.